Welcome, everybody. Tonight is a business chat. We are, again, just for a couple people are new on here, we are rotating the business trainings with intros. So, the idea is to get some business tips, learn some skills, and then apply that during the week. Invite people to the intros. So you let Carrie and I help you share with your friends so you can start or reboot or relaunch or kick your businesses in high gear, right? Because if we are not sharing, we're not building, okay? So tonight, Carrie and I came up with something that we both feel are really important skills and actions that you should be taking. And this is really relevant for people who are just launching their business, but it also for those of us who have been around for several years. These are just things that we should all be doing already. Okay. So Carrie, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So the first section, we kind of broke it into like why, who, what, when, where, how, those kind of questions. So the first question is why. And I know over the last month or so, I have seen a lot of my friends or acquaintances on Facebook. All of a sudden they're doing nail parties or Pampered Chef, or they're starting to sell jewelry. People are looking for extra income opportunities. And if they're your friends, then you should care about them and you should make sure that they know about Young Living and about the income opportunity that's available here, because this is, in the whole world of multi-level marketing, one of the best companies because of our products, number one. Number two, the initial buy-in price. Number three, the fact that it's stuff that you're using up and buying over and over again. You're gonna have to go through a whole lot of your friends to make any money selling pots and pans. Once everyone's bought their pan, they're not gonna buy another pan. But I'm hoping that everybody's using up their toothpaste every month and buying new toothpaste. So if you care about your friends, now is the time to let them know about the business opportunity with Young Living. We all know all of the other great things about Young Living as far as the health and wellness benefits and the incredible products. But now is the time to speak up about the financial opportunity, because your friends are looking. Everybody's a little nervous about what the future holds right now, and people are more open today than they were 3 months ago about hearing the opportunity from the business perspective. Because this is a participatory experience here, hopefully you've all got a pen and paper. I know we didn't post it this time, but grab your notebooks. I want you to write down real quick 5 reasons why someone would want to join Young Living, kind of in your own words, and then give me a thumbs up when you're done with that, and I'll give you the next one. About half of you are done. Okay. All right. So go ahead and finish up if you need to do that. The next thing I want you to write down is 3 reasons why someone would want to join you, your group, your organization, you as a business partner. Write that down too.
There must be something in the water today. I see some feistiness.
Hi, Holly. We're writing down 5 reasons that someone would want to join Young Living, and then 3 reasons why they would want to join your group. So a couple people just hopped on. Okay, is everyone kind of ready to move on? Another couple minutes? 30 seconds? All right.
All right. So,
okay. As we move to this next section, think of, keep the stuff in mind that you just wrote down, because that's going to kind of inform how you approach some people.
Right. And then I would say that when you're thinking about those 5 reasons, like who could benefit from them or why they would choose you, who those people are, we are going to tell you it's everybody, right? And you're going to use those reasons to, again, like Carrie said, to adjust how you're sharing with each of those people. But everybody, and I mean this full-heartedly and not as a sales tactic, everybody can use Young Living. Everybody can benefit. There is a product for everyone. If they're not into the oils, there's plenty of other ways that they can get benefit from our products, right? So your hot market, there's 3 markets. You got your hot, your warm, and your cold. So your hot market is your family and your friends. And they're people that you know and that support you really well, right? Your warm market are friends and family that you know, but aren't maybe not very overly supportive, or you don't talk to them very often, right? Like you're still acquainted with them, but they're not like you're in your inner circle. Your cold market, I like how Carrie says this, those are your future friends, your future Oilers. So, you know, get used to talking to people that you don't know because you just don't know them yet, right? So if you're starting, we would encourage you to make a list of your hot and your warm market and just free flow it. Like think of everybody that you know and leave judgment at the door, right? Your hot market will tell you, well, you should tell them how super excited you are about this and that you are hoping to share with them and that they'll support you, right? So you are not asking them for feedback. You're not asking them saying, I want your opinion. I hear people say that all the time. And I think Carrie and I are both on the same page that opens up for criticism. It opens up the opportunity for them to look at what's wrong. So we want to kind of avoid that whole, you know, I just want your feedback. Like, how did I do? And like, so they're going to critique you versus looking at the opportunity or the products, right? So instead, we're hoping that they'll support me. You know, I found this new thing. I'm really excited about it. I hope you'll support me. And I'm inviting you to come and learn more about what I'm doing, because I love you, you love me. Let's do this together, right? Bring them to class with your upline. So if you're on this call, you are a part of either Carrie's upline or mine or both. Okay, so you have us to plug into. You can have your upline do a class for them. Okay, so you can either invite them to our classes, or we can schedule a private class. I have one coming up next week with one of my girls where we're doing a private class for her and just 3 other girls. Like, it's just very intimate for her versus coming to a big class like this. The closer you are, the further upline you should try to go, because it's kind of like when I know some of you are on Sharon's group, and when I come in from out of town to visit, you guys get this huge show, right? You get a whole bunch of people who show up because I am the person from out of town, the person they don't know, possibly, depending on how you have presented it, the expert that may know more than their sister, their cousin, their neighbor, right? So it's removed, and you guys get those classes really big, right? So it's the further away you are, the more important they feel that you are and that they can listen to you. And you all know that me and Carrie are just like you guys. But even when Carrie goes up to see Brenda in Indiana, you know, it's the same thing, that Carrie from Ohio is coming to see me. You know, like that is, there you go. Okay, thank you, Tabitha. So the further away you go, the more, I want to say respect you get, but I don't mean that, because I think our families and our friends can respect us, but I think they can maybe take us a little bit more serious because they don't have the background. Like, I didn't go TP their house, or they didn't know the things that I did in high school and have like my story of who I really was back in my 20s versus, yeah. Does that make sense to you guys? So utilize us. You know, if you have somebody new, Carrie and I are happy to do a 3-way call with you. We're happy to do a Zoom. We're happy to help teach classes, okay? Your warm market, those are the people who, they're not always supportive, but you're going to follow the rule that we just said. You're going to connect with your upline, okay? And that could be, you know, Sharon as well. You know, it depends on who, like, go up, like, let them tap into your upline. Your warm market can start also doing, you can also start doing classes for them and invite them to our classes, right? Like, immediately use the same verbiage. Always use our classes as an option. And as you begin to sponsor more people, you will take them through these steps and do classes for them, right? So that's the whole goal. Like, you guys will see us doing classes. Eventually, you're going to go, I got it. And you're going to start becoming that person for your downline. And that's the whole goal, because then your hope is that your downline will go, I got it, and they can start doing the classes on their own. That's how network marketing works, because we're dipping into our warm and our cold and our hot markets, but we're also training other people to do the exact same thing that we're doing. So you guys could take this class and go teach it for your people, right? Not always what us doing it for you. This is how Young Living begins to grow exponentially. So, you know, collectively, Benevolent Oils has like over 2,500 people. I did not enroll 2,500 people. Nobody, I don't care who you are, I don't care what kind of unicorn you are, nobody can enroll 2,500 people, right? And you can't support that many people. And you can probably get to star and senior star by yourself with enrolling people on your own. But to get to where Carrie and I are in the company, you need other people doing the exact same thing that you're doing, and teach them, and set your ego aside and let them do it their way and let them fly. If they're doing it, let them do it, okay? The cold market, at some point, at some point you're going to get through your warm and your hot market, and you're going to go, I have nobody else to talk to. I've talked to them all. I'm also going to back up and go, don't blast through your hot and cold or hot and warm market right away, because if you go too fast, you're not going to follow up with them appropriately. And then you're going to feel like you're stuck, right? Like, talk to 3 or 4 people at a time. Don't talk to 50 people, because you can't support 50 people at once, okay? But then eventually you're going to tap out of that, and you are not going to have any choice but to push yourself out of your comfort zone and start talking to people who you don't know yet. And y'all know that comes really easy for me, right? All right, Sherry's laughing. Yeah, no, like talking to the cold market is painful for me, but you can't get to where Carrie and I are if you haven't done it. So the only way that you can push through that is practice. So I suggest start talking now. Here's a challenge. When you go out and you have your mask on, you can't see if someone's smiling. That will force you to look at their eyes, and you can see a lot in someone's eyes. Practice smiling at people with your mask on. I actually challenge you to do that, because I think that's kind of fun, because then people can see whether or not your eyes are twinkling, and it's interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah. Okay. So, you want to pour your cold market into the classes that we're doing as well. Okay. So invite them to, Carrie and I are offering an intro every other week with this series. So, you don't have an excuse. You guys have an opportunity to, you already know that you're available on Wednesday or Tuesdays at 6. Get them there, right? Okay. I have someone that I really love and respect, who is going to be sharing about the CBD next week. I would love for you to be my guest. That's all you have to do. It's simple. I think we overthink it, right? Okay. So we did why, who. So what is the sharing? There are a gazillion scripts out there, but I'm going to tell you that it doesn't matter what script you use, whether you use Now What, or you use Lindsay Elmore's, or Sarah Harnish and her Core 4. Who else has it? Shannon Hudson does a great catalog script. Or whether you plug them, or whether you do your own, it doesn't matter what you say. It matters who you are. They are buying you. They're not buying what you say. And it's more important than your excitement and your belief in the product is way more important than what you say. You guys, I flub my classes all the time, and I'm like, oh my God, they're going to look at me and go, how the heck did you get where you're at? And you still, I still stumble over what I say. But I promise you, I'm so excited about what these products have done for you guys. And I let that show, right? You have to bring that excitement to the table, right? Okay.
The other thing with that is, don't feel like you have to memorize any of it. Mm-hmm. It's actually better for you to pull out some paper and go, I'm going to tell you now, and read it. Just bring the paper and read it. It's fine. What that does is it lets the person across the table from you know that they can do it too, because hopefully they can read and they can get an oil kit and they can read. You don't have to know everything. Don't be afraid of being asked a question you don't know the answer to. It's really easy. I don't know. I'll find out.
Right.
Let's look it up together. Let's figure this out together, because you're building that relationship.
I would rather somebody tell me that they don't know than to try to pull one over me and pretend to be the expert. I have so much more respect when someone says, I don't know, but let's figure it out together, or let me call my upline, or let's go look at the EODR together. It's not in the EODR. Let's go pull out another. There's so many references books out there. And people go, you guys have so much memorized. No, we don't. I am surrounded by 3 reference books right to my left. I use my reference books when I post, right? when you guys ask questions, I reference that stuff. Use them. Let your people see that again, so it becomes duplicatable. So many people are afraid to do this because they don't think they can remember everything. You don't have to remember everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the other thing, if someone's asking you a very specific question, they're most likely a green personality. And if you give them the wrong answer, you're done.
Yep.
Or if you give them an answer that's not backed up or not, that you can't find a reference for, you're done. So don't be afraid to tell a green. Greens will love it when you say, I don't know, but I'll find out and I'll give you a reference for that. We eat that stuff up. It's great.
Rhonda's saying that not knowing is one of the most powerful things to say. It is. And she's right. When you say, I don't know at your intro class, guess what? That is a perfect opportunity to schedule another follow-up with them, because you're going to go find out that information, schedule a time where you can call them and follow up and have the information for them. So it's a perfect follow-up tool. So you kind of want to have them stump you. Chris, don't let it stress you out. Like, just roll with the punches. Like, I'm fairly new. I don't know it all. Let me go ask Sherry or Sharon or Susan, and I'll let you know. Like, people will respect you for that. I promise you. Okay, so no matter what class I teach, what I do, obviously, the welcome in your story is probably more important than anything else that you're going to say in the class. Because people want to know why you're there, and they want to know why you're selling Young Living. They don't care how, like, you know what I mean? Like, they want to know why. What happened to you with Young Living that caused you to go stand in front of 20 people tonight and have this conversation? Because 10 years ago, I would have told you, no way. I would have been sweating bullets before this call, right? Like, but my why is so big, I would go out of my comfort zone to go tell anybody. And since this is a business call, when we tell our why and we can connect with someone on an emotional level, they are more apt to buy into Young Living than the people who can't connect at an emotional level. So I will tell you the stories that when I tell my Young Living story, my enrollment at that class is higher than the classes I don't tell my personal story to. So when compliance came out and I stopped saying it, like, my enrollment rates went down. So figure out how to tell your stories and start your class with that. Okay.
And if you don't know what your story is yet, like if you're brand new, it can just be that you're excited about the opportunity. But you don't have to have, Susan's story is powerful. It's probably one of the most powerful stories that we know. If you don't have that powerful story yet, don't let that stop you. Just, you've got to do a little bit of digging deep and figure out why. What's your why? And then translating that why into Why Young Living and share from that perspective. So if you haven't had this amazing experience yet, don't worry, you will, but don't let that stop you. Give them a glimpse as to who you are and why you're there, what you care about in the world. And that is going to be that bridge.
Agreed. So then you just go through the product lines. You make sure that you're talking about the essential oils and the history, frankincense, thieves, Ningxia, seed to seal. Whenever anyone asks you why Young Living, always fall back to seed to seal. That's why we're committed to Young Living. Like, that's what sets them apart from everybody else. That sets the standard. Okay, so if you don't know a lot about seed to seal, there's a microsite called seedtoseal.com. Go to it, learn the steps, and fall back on that. Okay. Always talk about their enrollment options and essential rewards. Don't be afraid to talk about that, because buying a kit is great. But if someone is coming to you because they really have a huge goal or something going on in their life, that kit's really not gonna probably resolve it, right? And we know consistency is key. We know that, like Carrie said, not even just the oils, but swapping out their toothpaste and their shampoo, or, swapping out the Wally World vitamins with vitamins that are going to actually be assimilated in their body and actually work. Like, there is something that we have, laundry soap, dish soap, like there is something, baby products, I'm going to keep going, is that they can swap out. Okay. I'm getting my pedestal on that. Sorry.
And if you are super excited about the makeup, talk about the makeup. If you're super excited about the Thieves line, talk about the Thieves line. If you love the supplements, that's where your heart is. Start with that.
Absolutely.
Even if you're doing an essential, oils 101 class, start with your passion and then flow through the rest of the class.
Right. And I always talk about a couple supplements in my intro classes, but I only talk about supplements that my family uses. So then again, I'm sharing authentically, my personality is coming through. That's really important. Okay. So let's talk when.
Okay. So, I'm going to be a little red here, a little honest with you.
That's why we work together, because Carrie's red and I'm yellow, and we complement each other.
So you can make Young Living fit into your schedule, in that you get to decide what days of the week you're going to work, what hours you're going to work, when you're available. But it is going to take actual work. It's not going to just happen. I wish that were true, but it's not. You're going to have to talk to people. You're going to have to invite people to classes. You're going to have to follow up with them. You're going to have to develop relationships with people. There's so many different opportunities with Young Living, from just, helping your own family's health and wellness, to just sharing with a couple of people and helping get your order paid for, to, like a small side gig, to a career. But you're not going to have a career income and put in a side gig amount of work. So I hope you kind of understand that this is going to take some time and some effort. I would really like for everybody to have a calendar and schedule out the number of hours you're going to work. Schedule the days you're going to work and the hours you're going to work, and then hold those sacred. Just like you would hold, you go to church on Sunday from this time to this time. You work your job from this time to this time. You're not going to call into your boss and say, oh, the cat threw up on the floor and I'm just not feeling it today. So don't allow stuff like that to throw you off your Young Living game either. Those are your work hours. Those are the hours you're working. And then get with Susan and I, one of us, get with one of us and say, okay, this is the amount of money that I'd like to make. This is my time frame. And we can help you figure out, okay, this is the number of hours that's going to take. So if you want to go silver in 6, you're going to be running hard. If you want to go silver in 5 years, you can take the slow boat to China. As long as you're consistent. So it's all dependent on what you want to put in, the amount of time that you have available to work, that you're going to work, and how fast you need to get there and how much you need. So it's open to everybody. There's a lot of opportunities. But what I see happen a lot is people, they do 1 or 2 classes. They've worked maybe 5 hours total. No one signed up. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, well, this isn't for me, which is totally not true. It's going to take a little more work than that. So I want to set you up for success and not sugarcoat it.
And Brenda, you're absolutely right. That's why people who have a fun personality really need to pair up with people who are green or red. Like, I'm yellow, but I have red behind my yellow, right? And people who are blue, they're in it for the fun, and that's okay. Like, you know, Carrie has I think Carrie has a lot of blue. I always see Carrie with blue, but she says no. Sherry has a lot of blue in her, right? But it's like reeling her down and making sure she stays grounded and she's still doing the actions that she needs to do to build the business. And I'm going to add to what Carrie's been saying is, if you can invest, let's say 5 hours a week or 10, like if you have silver in mind, like 10 hours a week, it's not a lot really when we can like schedule it around our lives. Make sure those 10 hours you're productive and you're not sitting on Facebook and scrolling and chit-chatting and pretending you're working, or planning on that event that never happens, but you planned it and it's all perfect and it's in your folder and it's punched and it's just perfect. Busy work, don't do it. Throw it out the window.
We hadn't written this down, but it's sort of the 80-20 rule. Mm-hmm. So you want to spend 80% of your time in actual physical face-to-face conversations with people. That is the actual work.
And that's either sharing
or it,
right?
The rest of it is, some of it is necessary. Some of it's busy work, but if you have 10 hours a week, 8 hours of those needs to be talking to people in one form or another. And that's how you structure your work week to really make those 10 hours count. You know, trust me, I could organize my desk for 10 hours a week. And I'd feel productive, but it's not going to move my business forward at all. And then the other thing I wanted to say on the blue-red thing, when you get to your class, let your blue go. Like, let it come out. Because if people are having fun, they're going to join you. I know
wine.
Wine is great.
My blue comes out. I'm just kidding.
But I actually, you know, I spun my wheels for a long time because I am very red. And I was like, no, you need to understand all of this. And I wanted to give them all the information. And nobody had fun. I was not fun. They did not want to join me in my business because I was not fun. So your blues are actually, your personalities are going to shine at the class as soon as you relax enough to allow yourself to have fun.
Yep.
And then one last real quick tip on that is go ahead and do it ugly. Mm-hmm. Your first 50 classes are going to just be awful. It's okay. Mm-hmm. Ours were, it's bad. Just know it's going to be bad and just laugh about it and get through it and you'll get better.
Carrie and Sharon stuck around and they were at my very first classes and they were not pretty. And yeah. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but they're still here. So, you know, they can see the ugly and they may just stick around. Right? Okay, so where?
We had fun.
Huh?
I said we had fun.
We did.
At your first classes. It was fun.
And then we were out on the market. Right. So then you have to move into, yeah, there you go. So where? Okay. So right now, the majority of classes are online, right? So you have Zoom, you have Google Hangouts, Facebook has video conferencing. They don't have all the perks that Zoom has, but it's still available. So get comfortable and teach your people how to use those platforms. And I'm telling you, I'm digging the Zoom classes. I don't have to clean my house. I don't have to make snacks because I'm not blue. Just kidding. But I'm actually doing more classes because I don't have all the prep work in getting the house or traveling. You know, going up to, you know, Northeast Ohio is at least a 2.5 hour drive one way. You know, that's doing Zoom classes, saving 5 hours a trip, you know, and I'm kind of liking it because I can tap into more people by being on the video conferencing. So get used to those and present it in a positive light to your friends, okay? And if they haven't done it, just teach them how to do it. It's so simple. Just send them the link and have them click it. So, okay. if you're comfortable in your homes. So I know there's a couple girls on the classes that have already had in-home classes already. You know, if that's your comfort level, do it. On the Sunday night class, we were talking about, you know, maybe having get-togethers on our back porches, so we're outside, and like if you're not comfortable, you know, with social distancing yet, you know, you can sit in your backyard 6 feet around, right? You don't have to be on top of each other around a kitchen table. There's ways to get around this in today's temperament. Okay. Rhonda, I'm going to come back around to that. Okay. Outdoors, the parks are open. Go to the parks. I like the parks. I mentioned that. And like sitting in the back in a parking lot, like pull up your cars and have a tailgate party. That's kind of fun, right? And there's your blue. That'll pull out some blue, right? I see some heads going up. You guys are blue. Like we did at the Mexican restaurant. Absolutely, Kayla. We pulled up and we sat in our own tailgate and we had a nice visit. So that's super cool.
I would say one thing, if you're going to do like a tailgate party, one thing that you can do is to make up little kits and put like a drop of oil in a little container or even a plastic bag and label it, so that when they get there, you hand them their kit. That way people aren't passing bottles around, and then they can still experience that oil without touching the same bottle that 6 other people are touching.
Right. Still have that visceral like response though, where they can actually smell it and stuff like that. Yeah. You know, if you're comfortable, you know, coffee shops and cafes. We were at the mall today and there are a couple of restaurants that were actually packed and I was like, whoa. But you know, if they're comfortable, you know, Starbucks did not have open seating. You had to take your drink and go. So go get your Starbucks and go to the park, you know. We have a Lula in your backyard. That would be fun.
I like that, Brenda.
You are blue. That's funny. Okay, so there's opportunities both ways. So kind of like backing up to closing with a Zoom class, it really, when you have to connect with your people, like if you're not connecting, it's going to be hard to close. So it's going to take some finesse. But I think, again, that follow-up is key. And I was actually thinking about this on my way home tonight, like for the class. And I was thinking, one of the things that you could do as a follow-up thing, and I'm brainstorming because I just thought of this literally like 10 minutes before we jumped on, was, you know, at the end of the class, maybe you can say, I want everybody to text me. Here's my phone number. Text me your name and one thing you learned today, or one thing that you're excited about that you learned today, or one thing that you're excited about that's going to help your family, for a chance to win XYZ. So do it as a giveaway. Have them text you. So they're texting you their name. They're texting you what they're excited about integrating into their home. So now you got their phone number, their name, and what they're interested in. And then you do a giveaway from that. But they send because we can't really hand out a sign-in sheet in a Zoom, right? Or in Google Hangouts, but we can have them text us. And I would do that versus like the Zoom chat. Like, I thought that was kind of good. I just thought of that. So there's an idea. See if that helps. Because then you get their, because if Rhonda brings a person to the Zoom, I don't have that person's name and phone number, but if they text it to me, then I do. So I can easily follow up with everybody then, right? So let me know how that works for you, Rhonda. Okay. We're going to the how?
How, yeah.
Okay. So when you do a class on Zoom, or whether you do it tailgating, or whether you're meeting in the park, or like if you're comfortable in your home, You always want to make sure you are dressing one step up from your guests. So, we're professionals, and as you know, it may be a side gig or a side hustle for some of you, but you still need to look professional. You still need to look, don't come to class with short shorts and a crop top shirt. Okay, had that happen. Show up and look decent, like don't dress down beneath them. That's not good either, but you want to go one step up. Like that's just basic business 101, right? You want to show your passion. We've talked about that, and like Carrie said, find something that you're passionate about. If it's green cleaning, let that come through. If it's, chemical free, you being the gatekeeper to your home, well, that's important to me. That's not where my passion is. And it comes off sometimes disauthentic because it's not my big, like it's not my thing. So you have to find out what fires you up and bring that to the table. Okay. Enthusiasm. Okay, so do you want to enroll with somebody who is smiling and excited and present, or someone who's a Debbie Downer and like, I'm not sure if you're going to like this, like even on Facebook, when you're sharing personal posts, I would recommend that you look how your advice, I was reading the chat and talking at the same time. Don't do that. Be mindful of how you're presenting. Sharon and I talk about this all the time. There's a lot of times we want to go on Facebook and we want to vent about current events or things that happen in our life, because life is messy, and sometimes I am a freaking hot mess. Carrie and I talk about it sometimes, right? But I don't need to go share that on Facebook all the time. People now more than ever need positivity and people who will uplift them. And if they're choosing who they're going to enroll with and they have Susie Reyes Sunshine over here, or they have Debbie Downer over here, who do you think they're going to choose? Think about it. And that doesn't mean that you're just authentic. Like, find something. If it's cats, post about your cats. I do that too. I do that with Luke. Luke brings me joy as much as he annoys me. But I know that when I post about Luke, it's a fun and it's a happy, like it's a good energy putting out there, right?
I think even when you're talking about hard topics, doing so with a positive spin or with solutions for people, and not just there's anger or complaining or yelling about things, that doesn't add to somebody's life, and in fact sometimes that can take away from somebody's life. I mean, there's a lot of times where I'm like, whoa, Facebook is no safe zone today. So just try and be mindful of how you present yourself in the world, because you are now in a people business. And Susan and I, we're both pretty introverted. In the real world, we are actually fairly introverted people.
Maybe that's why I'm digging Zoom. I'm just saying, maybe.
So you don't have to change who you are. You just have to polish it up a little bit, and start becoming the kind of person that people want to join. And
I think that's a good.
You're all beautiful and you're all lovely, so you got no worries.
And asking yourself, are you the sponsor that you would want? There's days I have to ask, was I nice today? There's sometimes I'm not nice. Would I want me as a sponsor today? Probably not. I need to go back and apologize, or I need to do better tomorrow. Because, yeah. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Present with confidence. Okay. And that just goes back again to what Carrie and I are saying is, find those products that drive you, that you have passion with. if you're not to the point of that that Young Living is the best on the market and a really like amazing business opportunity, do more homework, order more product, you have to find that in you, right? To present with confidence. Build relationships, so important, right? This is a relationship business. Relationships should be coming first and foremost, and just build that, sending texts, not because of Young Living, but because, you care about your team. Hey, how are you? I do that every now and then. I'll send you guys little graphics just to say hi, right? Or stuff like that. And usually it's the people who are saved in my texts. It is, because I'm not a millennial. But, build relationships, let people in, like, don't have that wall up. Smile. That's easy. Practice smiling. When you're doing your phone calls, smile, because that will actually radiate across the phone. If you're not smiling, people will pick up on that. They'll pick up on the energy. Okay. Listen carefully for people's needs, and meet them where they are. Sometimes we get really overzealous because we're passionate and we've been around for a while and we love the products. We have to learn to tame it down, so we're not intimidating people or not meeting them where they are. Maybe they're not ready for a message that we might have. They just don't know they need it yet. Okay. This is why at the beginning of my classes, when there's smaller classes, I always ask, if there was one thing that Young Living could do for you, what would it be? And let them answer that, because that gives me so much information versus me thinking I know what they need, right? Because maybe they're into green cleaning, and while I do green cleaning, it's not my jam because I hate cleaning. But maybe that's really important to them. And if I don't listen to that, I might not know that right off the bat.
And I think that skill right there also will help flip that switch in your mind that you're selling something. Because if you're listening and actually able to solve a need in their life, you're not selling anything, you are providing a solution for them. And that really helps kind of reduce that, I don't want to sell anything stigma that seems to be prevalent sometimes in our world. But really listening to what they need and having an answer for them is a skill that people are looking for. People are looking for people that can help them solve their problems.
Right. So like, no matter what class or event that you're having, whether it's in person or online, we need to remember that we're there to educate, and that may look very different for all of us, to encourage and to help our friends. It's a big deal when we invite people to our classes, and sometimes we need to let them know. I started saying that in my classes recently, like, go back and thank the person who invited you because they thought of you, and this is a big deal. Like, again, that human connection, right? Carrie, I like this one. When someone meets you with even if they have like a bad financial situation, make sure you give them all the information they need. Okay, so leave judgment at the door. If Erin had judged me, or if I had judged Carrie when I met Carrie where she was, we wouldn't be sitting here, right? Like, I wouldn't have got started if Erin had judged me. Like, we were poor, we were struggling. Carrie was struggling when I introduced Carrie, and had we had judged, we wouldn't be here. And how sad would that be? Because none of you would be on this call, really, because we wouldn't have shared. So leave that at the door. You don't know if they're like me. We were at the end of our rope and we didn't have any other options. Like, there were no other, we had exhausted everything. And this was our last hope. So you don't know. And while we didn't have a lot financially, we figured out how to do it because Aaron had given me enough of a spark of hope that I was able to embrace, I need to do this and we need to figure it out. Jim, I will sacrifice eating if we can try this for our kid. That's heavy, right? So you don't know. And the opposite is true too. Don't assume someone is going to be full on and jump all in and you're like, yeah, they still need to be, you still need to listen to them because sometimes the people who are over enthusiastic in the beginning end up being the ones who don't really want to do it. Like, so you have to listen to what they're really saying as well to help guide them and reel them in. Okay.
Yeah. And the other thing too is don't put all your eggs in one person's basket. So, you know, the lady at the class who's put together and she says all the right things and she talks a good game, you're like, she's perfect, she's going to be my diamond. She may or may not have any interest or any need, or she may be the kind of person that she's well put together, but she's not focused on this. So that can trip you up as well and make you sad when the one person that you're sure is going to do it doesn't do it. So keep rolling with things. Don't stop just because you think you have somebody who's interested. Keep moving.
Right. And I like the whole concept of that we're the hope-giving business. And that's where that listening really is required. And listening to hear what they're saying and not listening to respond, which is that's a skill. And when we can really hear what they got going on in their life, if you can give them a sliver of hope, whew, that's powerful. That's powerful. Okay. In the past, we have seen people sabotage their classes when it comes time for enrollment. Be quiet. And I'm going to say that gently. And Carrie's going to say, shut up. Just kidding. Right? Because when, you know, we've told them how it's impacted our life. We've given them a sliver of hope on how it's going to change their life. I'm predominantly yellow, and I'm going to say this with all the love I have in my heart. It is unethical for us to tell them all these things that Young Living can do for them and not tell them how they can enroll. It's unethical. And until I got that, my close was hard because I was worried about what they thought. I was worried about their money. I was worried about them thinking that I was exploiting my kid and like all these negative self-talk, or I'm not worthy of this business. I'm not worthy of so much. That's heavy. But yeah, shut up and just let them think. Present the kit, present the opportunity, and just be quiet. And even on Zoom, it's okay for on the Zoom class to have silence because people are thinking, can I afford it? How am I going to tell my husband? Do I need to move money from this account to that account? Maybe I need that ninja too. Like they're putting it together. Like we know it because we do it all the time. They're piecing it all together. And what did she say about that kit and that diffuser? And like, and when you talk, you interrupt that whole process that they have going on in their head. So just quiet, let them figure that out. Okay. You know, if I'm doing a class in person, sometimes I'll pass out enrollment papers, probably not ideal right now with our current events, but you could easily say, pull up, and you could do this on Zoom or Google Hangout, pull out your phone and go to youngliving.com right now. I'm going to walk you through the enrollment. It may take some of you out of your comfort zone, me including, but when I do that, the enrollment rate is high because people want to enroll and they're ready. And the people who don't won't, like, I'm not forcing anybody to do it, but you'll just go, you know, click on become a member, fill out this information, you know, here's Sally's member number, here's Carrie's, and, you know, they fill all that in and you just be quiet and, you know, click here, click there, click here, and just let them do it. Okay. So telling them how to get their products, we talked about that. Closing with confidence. Okay. Expect 100% member and ER enrollment, because that's how we're going to help people. And for those of you who are yellow, that's how you're going to help people. Like, you're not going to help them if they walk away and they don't buy anything. Let them get the kit. Be confident in that kit, that their life is about to change.
Okay. So we put together a little extra section for you that we've called Pro Tips for Success. So probably the first one is, don't talk about any of the bad things that have happened, or don't tell any of your glitches, or the time that customer service sent you the wrong package 3 times. It happens. We're a big company. Stuff is going to happen. Your order isn't always going to be there on time. It's, stuff gets back ordered for 6 months. We run out of stuff. Stuff happens. Don't lead with that with your new person. Just if you have anything negative that you need to unload about Young Living, negative goes up. So Susan and I, your upline we're the people that you complain to. And as you get more of a downline, you will be the person that your downline complains to. But you want to set a really good example of never complaining downline. So opposite of most business situations, the stuff rolls uphill here. And so again, it just goes back to that positive professional attitude. One thing, this wasn't on our list, but one thing with it, when you were talking, if you're doing some classes and you're getting the same objection over and over again, or this one objection, you even think about getting this objection, you get nervous, that right there tells you where your belief is weak. And that right there is where you need to research. So if you think it's too expensive and you're afraid that you can't close because someone's going to tell you that it's too expensive, that means you don't really believe that it's not. So do a little bit of research, discover the value for yourself. And I promise you, I almost never get that objection at a close. So that kind of clues you in as to where your own head is. Mm-hmm. And you need to resolve those within yourself, and then you'll stop getting that question presented to you at the end of your class. When someone does give you an excuse or an objection, I know, and that's the best part. Like, practice that. It's really expensive, I know, and that's the best part, because that means that a lot of time and attention and value has gone into the production of these products. Let's go look at the Seed to Seal website so you can understand all of the work that goes into getting you these products. So the best part is that it's expensive. You've got to kind of be able to roll with that kind of stuff. Susan, did you have anything to add?
No, I like that. And that's the best part. And even to go backwards is when people complain. So one of the complaints I have gotten recently is shipment times, and people are really frustrated with it. And first of all, you will never see me complain about shipment times or anything about Young Living on Facebook. Again, complain up, not down. You'll never see it. And I authentically believe this. That is the best part, because Young Living is viewed as an essential business. They are practicing social distance so they can take care of their employees. And while they have they're running 24/7 now. They actually have less employees. And how wonderful is it that we work for a company who is taking care of their employees? How do you object to that? Like, that is the best part, right? So like when someone starts to complain about something, don't feed into what they're complaining about. Even if you're frustrated, your job is customer service. Smile and wave. When you hang up and you're frustrated, you call me. Like, and I'm talking to Sharon and Carrie, like, or you guys call Bobby or Carrie or Sharon or whoever your upline is, like, or yeah. So that's the best part. That's the best part. Like, get used to saying that. Who did we hear in Florida that was saying that? There was an RCD that taught us that too, and that she uses that in all of her objections, whether it's at enrollment or anything. It's always, and that's the best part. And she just effortlessly kicks it off. It's a great tool. So get used to that. Practice that with each other, like role play. Want to see me sweat bullets? Ask me to role play. Okay. So don't be afraid to ask for referrals. Okay. So my friend Mary's not interested, but okay, I hear that. But do you know anybody else who could benefit from these products that we're talking about? Or, like, I'm open for referrals. Like, let people know. I love the business cards that say I love referrals on them, because that lets your people know, if you use business cards, that you accept referrals. Like, if you don't let people know that, they're not going to. I have people all the time who are not on my team and they don't use oils, who reach out to me and say, I have this client that has this need. Can you talk to them about oils? Absolutely. Like, they know I'm open for referrals, even though they're not even using our product. And that's powerful. That's where you can get some momentum going as well. So everybody knows someone who can benefit from Young Living. So even at your classes, you can say, who did you guys think of today that could benefit from what you heard? Like, I'm sure you thought of, like, maybe your mom or your grandma or your sister. Like, who did you think about as we were talking about these products? And get them to start thinking. Or you can even have them jot those names down. And that's a great way to get them to host their own party, because they may have 5 names down. That's enough for a small mini class, right? Not even a mini class. That's a decent sized class.
And in order for someone to trust you enough to give you the names of their friends, you have to be okay with them saying no to you. Mm-hmm. I get the timing's not right for you, but you know what? I really respect you and I enjoyed getting to know you. Do you know anybody who the timing might be better for? So whatever their objection was, embrace it. Okay, you didn't see anything of interest. Do you have a friend that you think this might be a better fit for? Again, it goes back to that relationship building and caring about them as people, because maybe the timing isn't right now. Maybe they are 6 months down the road. But if you've planted good enough seeds and let them know that you're okay with no, so they know you're not going to pressure their friends. Mm-hmm. It's not like turning a Mary Kay person loose on them, because those people never take no for an answer. Just relax. It's okay. Not everybody's going to want the chocolate chips you got in your hand that you're offering. It's okay. But they know somebody who's hungry. So help them bridge you to that person.
And if they're not ready now and you have respected them, when a need arises, they will remember that you were respectful and they will come back to you. That happens a lot. So that's good. Schedule.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, schedule your follow-up classes before your classes even happen. Schedule, your follow-up calls before the classes are over. So, ask people, you know, don't even ask them, just let them know. I literally pull out my phone. You guys have seen me do this. Our next class is such and such date, you know, like make sure you bring somebody to that class and like let them know what you have coming up in the next week. So they already know and you're inviting them. Okay. I also think it's a good thing to schedule follow-up with your guests. So if I have invited Carrie to my class, before my class is over with Carrie, I am going to schedule a time where Carrie and I are going to talk next week or in 2 days from now or tomorrow about what she heard that could benefit her family. So I think setting that appointment up, they expect it and they'll show up versus how many of you go, I can't get them to answer the phone or respond to my text. Well, if you already had the appointment set, most people won't stand you up if you already have a standing appointment. Okay, they're expecting your call.
Right. And on that day, 2 days after your class, you don't know what kind of mood you're going to be in. It may be hard for you to pick up that phone out of the blue because now you're back to cold calling because they're not expecting your call. So if you've already got that scheduled, that lowers your anxiety level so much to be able to, oh, I've got these calls I have to make today. They're expecting to hear from me. I'm a professional. I'm going to make these phone calls. Versus, oh, I'll get back to you next week. Well, that turns into 2 weeks and then 3 weeks, and then you're embarrassed to call them because you didn't call them. So just schedule your next calls out. If you've got another contact with them scheduled, it was a successful meeting, whether they signed up right then or not.
Because how many times does somebody have to hear something before they actually enroll? Like, it's quite a few. 7. Yeah, Sherry, 7. So, I mean, if they say no at the class, I always go, when I get a no at the class, it's because I either didn't answer all their questions, they didn't get enough information, or now is just not the right timing. Like maybe their kid is getting braces next week and $165 is just not in the budget, right? So, yeah. Okay. Follow-up. The art of the follow-up. We already talked about, you know, signing in. I wrote down everybody's name that was on the call as we were talking. I keep a log of the people who come to my classes so I can follow up with people. Or I might tell Sharon, hey, Sharon, did you see so-and-so was on the call tonight? You might want to follow up with her because, you know, or Carrie, oh my God, Carrie, did you see who jumped on the call tonight? I'm super excited. Like, let's follow up with her, right? So, Brenda, I don't have my story recorded. I might somewhere, but I'll have to look. It might not be compliant.
I was thinking the Halloween one that we did might have my story still up somewhere. I'll look for it, Brenda.
Yeah. Yeah, Rhonda said that she's been, she had a friend who's been hanging out with them for 2 years and just bought a kit. So while we don't expect 2 years to go by, because that could be frustrating and that's a lot of work because you want results and you want, like, let's face it, that paycheck is motivating to get you out and do it again next month. But sometimes it does take that time. So be okay and be patient with those people who need the time. Okay. So we're going to do an exercise. So we want you all to pull out your calendar or your smartphone, wherever you keep your schedule. So pull out, Sherry, you are always on it. Look at that. She pulled it right there. I don't even know. Well, mine's in my phone. You guys got a calendar? Okay. So we want you to schedule your next class right now. Whether you are, that's nice. You're going to schedule a Zoom or a Google Hangout or maybe something in your backyard at social distance. Pick a date right now where you are willing and able to host a class. Sherry, was that 2 classes? Sherry has 2 coming up. Is that what you're saying? Yes, that's awesome. See, that's doing it. Okay.
The other thing that you can do is write down 3 or 4 people that you're going to have next week at the CBD class that we're doing. So who are you going to invite? If you want 2 people there, I would say you're going to invite 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm. And if they say maybe, it's a no.
Yep.
So go find someone else, because maybes don't show up.
Never.
They rarely show up. I won't say never, but it's a no.
And then I did want to invite all of you. I'm running a Abundance Mastermind class on, it'll meet on Mondays on Zoom. I've got a little Facebook group. We're going to be talking a lot about kind of those blocks, the money blocks, prosperity blocks, self-talk, law of attraction, things in your mind, your self scripts, your old scripts and things like that that are getting in your way. So if you would like to really do some in-depth work on that, it's not going to be specifically Young Living based necessarily. I will recommend some oils and things to do, but we're really going to talk about breaking down those things that our mind puts in our way that prevent us from living the life we want. So I invite you to join us for that.
Yeah, so if you're not on Carrie's team, you're not seeing the invite. So shoot her a PM or shoot me it so I can add you to the group if you're not in her group, okay? And I'm gonna end the recording right now, and then we can open it up just for a couple